What the Heck Do I Know presents PM Update with Leah and Mia. And now your host, Leah. Hello, and welcome to What the Heck Do I Know PM Update. I'm Leah. The top stories tonight in our Project Management Fusion segment. Have you ever missed a reporting deadline because you didn't even realize you had one? Well, tonight we will show you how this happened to Katherine King and her plan to never let it happen again by making and using a WBS. Also, Kevin Kennedy encounters the good idea fairy and the scope creep monster on his project. Will he win these battles? See how a robust change management system can help shield you from both of these tricksters. Find out more in this segment of Project Management Fusion when we come back, so stay tuned. I really enjoy making these videos, and if you get value out of them or just enjoy watching, please hit like, subscribe, and feel free to leave me comments. Welcome back. Our first story tonight, Mia looks at one woman's situation with missing deadlines and how she manages her projects now to keep it from happening. Mia? In her first project as project controls manager with her new company, Katherine missed a cost reporting deliverable deadline in the first month. Now, this was a major stakeholder reporting deadline, and she had been misinformed about the reporting frequency. This was a big blow for Katherine so soon after starting at her new company.
Even though the deliverable was late, Katherine was able to scramble her team to put the report together since they were already collecting the correct data. Once the cost report was sent out, the project controls team was put on a schedule to meet this deliverable on time in the future. Then Katherine set out to figure out how she and her team had missed this. First, she pulled all of the documentation she had been given on deliverables, and she realized she had been in such a hurry to get started that she didn't realize her deliverables weren't tied to a WBS. Since the WBS is supposed to be a representation of the deconstruction of the entire scope or contract into work packages and deliverables, something was clearly wrong with the project setup. So Katherine requested a meeting with the entire project team to find out the story. When the project documents were created prior to Katherine's hiring, the majority of the PM team had worked together on similar projects for the same stakeholders for the last 2 years. So they created a schedule and an organizational hierarchy from the last projects and did not bother with a WBS. They thought everyone knew what needed to be done and when. Before the meeting, she requested a WBS template from a previous project and then reviewed the new contract to make note of any differences. As it turns out, their longtime client had added or changed a few deliverables to this project. In addition to her late cost report, Katherine found that schedule and quality reports were due on this project monthly instead of quarterly like they were on previous projects. Everyone on the project management team agreed that they should not have skipped the WBS, and they worked together to put one together. With everyone working together, the team was able to build the WBS and incorporate the updates into their plans. They also identified a couple more deliverable changes than the ones Katherine found in her initial review. This saved other members of the project management team from missing deadlines, and Katherine felt much better about missing hers because in the process, she was able to help out the entire team and her company. Now Katherine insists on a WBS before starting any new project, and she hasn't missed a deadline since.
Thank you for that great story, Mia. Katherine certainly turned a bad situation into a good one there. Next up, when we return, Kevin Kennedy reveals his plan for tricksters on his projects and how to use your change management system like a shield to protect you in battle. Kevin is a project manager on an office building project. His company has the contract for building construction. There is a third party overseeing the overall project that includes utility tie-ins, landscaping, and an asphalt parking lot, among other things being performed by other contractors. His client is DDC Company, and they will move their headquarters into this building when it is complete. There is a weekly stakeholder meeting where the intent is for each group to update all other stakeholders on progress, schedule, and work out any coordination issues. Lately, Kevin has noticed that there are two people in particular who always seem to want to add to his workload. It's usually little stuff, but it isn't in his contract, and over time it has been adding up. To combat these repeated out-of-scope requests, Kevin implemented a new change management system as his shield. His client is the well-meaning good idea fairy in this story. They often ask for small improvements or changes to design elements that are not included in his contract. The other contractors are scope creep monsters, often asking for things that are also not in his contract but will make their job easier. At the stakeholder meeting, Kevin gives his progress update. After he is finished, he informs all of the other stakeholders that he is implementing a new change management system. All requests that involve performance from him will need to be submitted in writing to the new change manager on the new change request form. The form will also need to include information on estimated cost and schedule impacts, and pros and cons for doing it and not doing it. All requests will be evaluated by his change control board of trade supervisors, and items that are specific to his contract will be approved by him. Any that will potentially impact other stakeholders will be forwarded to the client with a go, no-go recommendation from his team for their approval. The new process will now have a 7-day approval turnaround time if internal, and 14 to 21 days if external. When an internal change request is approved, it will also require a minimum of 14 days for implementation, as all of the project management documents and cost and schedule baselines will need to be updated for proper reporting. He also advised the other stakeholders that they will be tracking all change request submittals in a change log, and to please request a review or search from his change manager to see if their request has already been submitted to avoid repeated requests that are rejected. In the 2 weeks following that meeting, requests for work outside of his scope dropped 80% and became much more manageable. He was able to concentrate more on managing his work and didn't have to keep telling everyone no all the time, which improved their working relationships. He was also able to make sure that his client would be paying for the extras they were requesting rather than having to cover the additional costs himself.
What a compelling story, Mia. Kevin really had his work cut out for him. That's all for PM Update with Leah and Mia and our Project Management Fusion segment for this week. Thank you for watching, and see you next time on What the Heck Do I Know and our next episode of PM Update. Good night. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I love seeing comments too, especially if you have a topic you would like me to cover.